So we're going to bring our guest on, our first guest. She has been on the show before. She was on with her first book, her first installment of her series. And I'm not sure if she has more than two, but she'll let us know. Okay, she's shaking her head. Okay. So welcome back to Black Authors Matter TV, Rosey
Thank
Lee.
you so much for having me. I have been looking forward to this.
Well,
Oh,
thank you
well,
for being here.
Thank you.
yeah.
I may have answered that question wrong. Only two out now, but planning two more. So,
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that's what I meant.
yeah.
Is it, are there some coming? Are there some in the
Yes, yes,
pipeline?
yes. Sorry, I misunderstood that.
Okay. So her first book was The Gardens of Eden,
Right. Oops.
which is a play on words. And it's a great title
Thank
because
you.
it's
It's a
memorable.
pretty cover too.
It
Thank
is.
you. I worked hard for that cover.
Okay.
Yes.
Because you wanted to reflect like a garden.
Yes, I love
Okay.
flowers, if you can't tell.
Yeah, I
No,
see a wall behind
I
you.
would have never guessed that
You would have
at
never
all.
guessed it. Yeah.
Just any kind of flower. Any what's your favorite flower?
Ooh, it's hard to pick. I love lilies. I love ranunculus. I love lots of them. Don't get me started naming them. Yeah. I love
Okay.
certain types of roses.
Okay.
I like roses in general, but I can be a little picky. But
Now, do you just basically like the standard red rose, or do you like one of the other
no,
colors?
I love
I think yellow,
colors. I
the
mean,
yellow
I'm not
rose.
mad about red roses,
Okay.
but yeah, they're
Well,
not.
I saw a blue rose one time that was absolutely gorgeous. And then the florist I used to go to when I was living in Europe had a blue and white rose. And that was the most beautiful rose I had ever seen.
Really. I've
And do they
not
paint
seen
them
you in
that
person.
color, or are they like doing some kind of cross pollination or whatever
I'm
you do
sure
with
it was
plants?
some type of a cross pollination or some type of a dye thing, but it
Mhm.
was just really pretty the way the white kind of the white and blue just it was like a gradient. Just the
Mm.
way they blended into each other. And they were beautiful. I bought a bouquet of them and gave them as a gift because I just thought that they were that pretty.
Oh, that's beautiful. I
Yeah.
love gifting flowers, so you
Yes.
totally got me there.
Oh, okay. So and probably receiving. People know what to give you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so they don't have to really think that hard.
They
Because
don't.
some people are hard to buy for, but
Mhm.
not Rosie. And you have an appropriate name. Is that your real name?
It's my pen name, but it was chosen for, it's
Okay.
actually chosen to honor the women in my family. There are lots of women named Rose in my family.
Okay.
Nice.
So it's intentional. But I will tell you that my name that my mother gave me means something about a flower. I won't say too much more, but it's all
Oh,
connected. Yeah, it's all connected.
Okay, because until now, I never even thought that that was a pen name.
Oh, really? Well,
So,
that's good because it's the brand is Brandon. I love it.
yeah, it is. I thought it was your real name. So, tell us a little bit for the audience who didn't see the previous interview.
Mhm.
Tell us about the first book, and then tell us about the sequel.
Sure. Thank you. So, The Gardens of Eden is about the four women of the Garden family who live in the fictional town of Eden, Georgia. And so their family owns a multi-million dollar peanut empire, and their family's at a bit of a crossroads because there are four women in the family: Ruth, Naomi, Mary, and Martha. Ruth has married two men
what?
in the family. One
I'm sorry.
died.
I just have to interrupt
I
because
know,
I
I
love
know.
the names.
Oh, thank you.
And they're all
Yes.
biblical, of
Mhm.
course.
Yes, they're all biblical
Mm.
names, and I'm quite sure you were very intentional about that.
Yes. So
Okay.
the characters in my story are loosely inspired by women of the Bible. So they have the personality traits of the women. So I just always wondered what happened after the stories told in the Bible. And so
Mhm.
I
Okay.
made up an answer. It is not doctrinally sound. I took two women from the Old Testament, put them in the same family with two women from the New Testament. Because I write stories about messy families. And so I always wondered, if set in present day, if Ruth had married one man and then he passed away and then she married his wealthy cousin, how would the other people in the family feel about it in present day? Back then, that was absolutely expected. But in present day, if this family had money, some folks might have some feelings about Ruth. And so that's
Yes.
exactly the case. So the Martha character, she is a physician. She's all about doing the good work, but she's also a bit of a social climber. And she just has it out for Ruth. She's really the troublemaker of the family. And she's like, okay, Ruth, I'm sorry that my cousin Bo has died. So sorry you've now lost two men who you were madly in love with, but we've had enough of you in this family. Okay, goodbye.
Oh,
And so,
wow.
yeah, so the family's at a bit of a crossroads because they're trying to figure out what are we gonna do. And so of course Naomi is the matriarch of the family, and she's tired of always having to hold the family together. So she's like, you know what? Y'all are gonna figure it out. But of course, she still puts pressure on everybody to figure out and make it
Hmm.
work. Mary is Martha's sister, and she's just tired of being pulled into the drama. She just wants to mind her business because she's just opened a restaurant that serves healthy comfort food. So she literally wants to mind her business, her restaurant business.
I
But Martha
absolutely
keeps
can
pulling her
picture
to the
all of
drama.
these.
Oh, you can picture them? I love
Yeah,
that.
I can
I
picture
love that.
all of them. And you did very well matching their personalities up with the characters in the Bible.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I describe it as a messy family drama with a heartwarming ending. It's like Bravo
Yeah.
meets Hallmark. And
Oh,
so,
okay.
yeah, as we go through the book without giving you any spoilers, because a Rosie Lee story will have a happy ending. I can tell you that, the family's going to stay together. And most of the women, essentially all except Martha, have the growth that they need to achieve. Martha does just enough to get by. And so, true to her character, she demanded her own book because Martha wants to be a star. She wants to be just the popular person. So, Martha gets her own book, and that is the cover that you see here, A Garden Wedding. And so
Okay.
in this book, Martha, our troublemaker, gets a taste of her own medicine because some people, that's just what they need. So
Mm.
the Martha character I conceived of because I'm intrigued by our having people in our lives, whether they're family members or friends, who just kind of wreak havoc and are never held accountable. And
Mhm.
so just kind of dealing with that. So this family deals with that. They make it through, but then we have to deal with Martha. So she gets her own book, and that's A Garden Wedding.
Okay.
This sounds like a really fun book.
Mhm.
And it sounds like life. Sometimes people just write books with drama on top of drama on top of
Mhm.
drama just for the sake of having drama. But this just sounds like life.
That's what I think about it. I just kind of just, we all collect experiences, and we know as writers, one thing that we do when we write is whether we mean to or not, we're processing our experiences. So
Yes.
I can't say that I and my family members are exactly anyone in the book, but I can say that I am inspired by all the things that I've seen and gone through myself. And so this book is about someone just needing to get a taste of their own medicine. But how did they come through? It's about Martha's journey. But we also, if you enjoy seeing a villain get what they, I don't want to call Martha a villain. I
Their
should,
comeuppance.
but they're comeuppance. Yeah, and I have to, I can say she's a troublemaker, but I shouldn't call her a villain because there are Marthas of the world, and we love the Marthas who are of the world. I
And
joke.
Marthas of the world are the ones who hold it down. They're trying to keep everything
That's
together.
true.
They're they
That's
they
true.
see the importance of behind the scenes.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, but because they're always the ones holding it together, they start to resent the people who aren't helping them hold it together.
That can be true. That can absolutely be true. Hmm.
So is the wedding the beginning? Does the book start with the wedding or does it end with the wedding?
Why does it have to be one or the other? I don't
Oh,
understand.
Well, okay, is it one or the other?
No,
maybe the wedding's in the middle.
no.
It's got to be somewhere. Or
Well,
you
what
saying it was okay? So the wedding may not even take place. Is that what you're saying?
So it's funny that you would say that because I always joke. So my sister, who I love dearly, she's always one of my first readers because she just helps me. We all need somebody who can tell us if we're going astray. And I had talked to my sister about this story. And again, we know a Rosie Lee story is gonna have a happy ending. And y'all, there's a bride and groom on the cover. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell you what happens, but there is a happy ending. So my sister
Okay.
got, I'll just say, very far in the book, and she said, "You mean to tell me we're not gonna have a wedding?" And I said, "Now, didn't we talk about this? Just keep reading."
Okay, so it's not at the beginning. That answers that
I
question.
didn't say it wasn't at the
Yeah, she said you said she got halfway through the book and said there's not a wedding, which means it's not at the beginning. I
Okay.
listened to the word.
It could be. Wait, no. There
Okay.
could be a wedding at the beginning. It doesn't mean that there was a marriage at the beginning.
I
Okay,
love talking to
or
writers.
they could be at somebody else's wedding. At the
So many possibilities. So many possibilities.
And that's the thing about writing. That's the thing about making up stories. You know, they're made up. So you can, you know, do whatever you
Y'all just wait till I have time to write my book. I'm just gonna
Yeah, you and me both. You and me both. In fact, speaking of weddings, my daughter's getting married on Saturday. And
Oh, really?
that, you know what she said yesterday? She said, you know what? We should have eloped.
Oh,
well,
but it's
you know,
going to
I
be
was
so
actually
beautiful. It's
I
so
was
much
actually
fun.
talking with a coworker yesterday, and she said that she eloped. And she said they saved so much money. They didn't
And
have to worry about
stress
feeding people they didn't really like.
and stress. And then, you know, there's a lot of moving parts to a wedding.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you've never planned one, which I didn't, and, you know, I thought about what made me think about my experience with my parents with my wedding, which my first wedding, I didn't even stay married but 4 years, and that was 4 years too long.
Ooh.
But I called my parents and
Uh-huh.
told them, I think I called them in June, told them I was getting married. I gave them the date in October, and I expected them to pay for it. You know, that's really just thinking back on how inconsiderate I was. You know, I really kind of dumped it on them.
You
They
were
came through.
young.
They came through. I wasn't that young. I mean, I was old enough, but you know, you get really self-centered when
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking about your wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
no, and my dad was a pastor, so I knew I didn't have to worry about the place. The church
Mm-hmm.
was taken care of,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, the wedding planner was the church had one, so I knew some things were taken care of
Uh-huh.
already. But they still, you know, had to come out of pocket. But I, you know, I just didn't even think about that much. You know, that's just and that now my daughter and her fiance are pay they pay for the bulk of the wedding. But you know, there's just so many moving parts.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
have a big wedding party.
Oh. So are you having fun?
Well, I'm having more fun. Well, you know, let me take that back. I compartmentalize very well.
Okay.
So that's why I'm able to do this show. I'm able
Mm-hmm.
to do the, you know, write books, do
Mm-hmm.
marketing for people. You know, we have an award show. We have an awards, children's award. I'm able to compartmentalize. So I compartmentalize the wedding plans that I have to do along with
Okay.
the other things. That's so, but it's not stressing me out. It's just, you know, a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. He's a very nice guy,
Oh, good.
and he loves her, which is
Yeah.
important. That's the most
Mm-hmm.
important thing.
It is the most
Absolutely.
important thing.
The most important. If you don't marry a man that loves you, you're nuts. I mean, if the person you marry doesn't love you,
Mm-hmm.
you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be heartbroken.
Yes.
Because if men don't love you, they act like they
Yeah.
don't love you.
Men
Mm-hmm.
don't I don't think men grow to love. Women
No,
grow to
I don't.
love.
Yeah, no, they gotta love you on right up front. Really, before you
Yeah.
love them is better.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Well, my
What do you
grandmother told
think?
me that. She said, love the fella who loves you.
Yes, yes, that's very
Mm.
important.
I'm thinking
So,
about Martha and OG, and their
yeah,
story
okay,
is very, very interesting.
okay.
Hmm.
So now, is your book
Hmm.
more about the women than the
Oh,
men?
it's always about the women.
Okay,
It's
okay,
always about the men. I mean, always
the
about the women.
women.
But we
Okay.
need some men in there too. So,
Hmm.
OG, that's Martha's boyfriend. He was important, but the story's about Martha and how
Okay,
she grows. But he's a great compliment to her. He's a
okay,
great compliment to her. But they're a very interesting couple.
So does he
okay,
give her balance?
More than she thought.
Mm.
okay. Now,
Hmm.
what age range are the sisters?
Martha and Mary are in their late 30s, so 34, 36,
Okay,
that age group. Hmm.
okay. And then Ruth and Naomi are,
Ruth's in her 50s, Naomi's in her 70s.
oh, okay.
Wow.
I
Okay.
thought they were sisters.
Nope, Ruth and Naomi are mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. So Naomi's the mother-in-law, and Ruth is her daughter-in-law. So Ruth was
Oh,
married
okay.
to Naomi's son, and then he passed away, and then she married Naomi's cousin.
Okay, I was thinking it was four sisters. So I
No,
was
no, it's
okay.
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 Mhm.
So Mary and Martha are the sisters.
Mary and Martha are the sisters, and they are Naomi's nieces. So
Okay.
their parents passed away, and Naomi raised them from teenagers,
Okay. Now
like
the setting
preteens.
you said was in Georgia
Eden,
in a made
Georgia.
up town, Eden. Okay, Eden,
Because
Georgia.
there is actually a real town called Eden, Georgia, but it's spelled the traditional way, Eden. And
Okay.
so, since
Mhm.
my town of Eden, Georgia was founded by the Garden family's previously enslaved ancestors and other people who were previously enslaved, I did not think it was a good idea to rewrite the history of a town that actually exists. So,
And
Uh-huh.
the
yeah, I'm
fictional
glad
town.
that you mentioned that. I was going to ask you, what are the challenges? Because I've noticed there are quite a few authors who will make a fictional town. But what
Mhm.
are the challenges of creating an entirely new town?
So for me, I think the biggest challenge was hoping that the people in the existing town didn't get upset with me. And so that's why I changed the spelling. But
Mhm.
I envisioned this town of Eden, Georgia, because I wondered what if towns that were founded by previously enslaved people had been allowed to thrive? The Rosewoods, the Roberts Settlement, Eatonville, Florida, etc. If those towns had been allowed to thrive, where would those people's descendants be today? And so that's what I envision as present day Eden. So their town is thriving, and the Garden family is certainly very, very, very much thriving. And so it was fun and fairly easy to me because I could just think about all the good things that I loved about those towns when they were doing well and just kind of let my imagination go.
Nice.
It was something that oh, the peanut part.
Oh,
Now was that um related to the fact that President Carter had had a peanut farm? I don't know if you knew about that, but
I did, yeah. Well,
okay.
just because, Georgia's, I think, the fourth largest producer of peanuts in the world. I think it's fourth. Forgive me that
In
I
the
forgot.
world?
I
Oh
think so.
wow.
I wrote The Gardens of Eden in 2020, so I need to brush up on my facts, but it is in the book. Ruth
Okay.
makes a little speech about it, and so she talks about it. But yeah, just because peanuts are such a big staple that Georgia produces, I thought it seemed appropriate to make them peanut farmers.
Oh yeah, because boiled peanuts are the thing in Georgia.
They are a big thing here. That's right.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And you're in
Ever had
Georgia.
a boiled peanut, Gwen?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. I've had peanuts in the shell, but I don't know if I've had
No,
boiled ones.
boiled peanuts, they're different. Mhm.
Okay. No, I don't think so. Peanuts aren't my thing. I prefer cashews or almonds or pecans or,
Hmm.
or even or Brazil nuts or
Hmm.
pistachios
Hmm.
to a
Well, I
peanut.
grew up with pecans because I'm from New Orleans, so
Oh,
pecans and
you want
pralines
sweet
are a big thing
too.
for us. So yeah.
Rhonda's from New Orleans.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I'm
Yes.
from the West Bank.
Okay, I'm from the lower nine.
Okay, very good, very good.
Oh,
I'm
y'all,
going back
okay.
at the end of this month for a family reunion.
Well, I just got back 2 days ago. So
Oh,
we're
okay.
gonna have to make our paths cross and meet up. I had no idea.
Absolutely. Yes.
We'll have a great time when you go back for the family reunion. The humidity was, whoo,
I can
my
imagine. I
gosh.
can imagine.
Yes, yes. But I love being home. So we worked through it. We pressed through.
Yes.
Yeah, you get
Hmm.
used to it. Like we have a lot of humidity in Houston.
Yes, you do.
So we just stay in air conditioning.
Yes.
And when you go out in the evening, you need to have your arms covered or something because you're gonna
Hmm.
get mosquito and they
Mm.
can bite through clothes.
They do.
Sometimes that really is just very disconcerting.
Hmm.
Um, so anyway, anyway,
Y'all
uh,
are so much fun.
you said you had two more books
Yes.
that you're working on now. Are these part of the same storyline?
They are. They are. So
Okay.
I originally thought that the Gardens of Eden would be a standalone. But as I wrote the first book, I knew that I would need to do a second book. And then I thought, okay, a third book seems appropriate. And I plan to stop there. But just, talking to people as they have met the characters, they've asked questions, and some people have made some strong requests, not quite demands, but strong requests. And so because of that, I've got I think a good idea for book 4. So I'm excited about that.
I love
Okay.
when people really like a book and that book really resonates with the
Hmm.
people. They do inspire series, and I
Hmm.
don't know if readers realize how much they inspire a series.
I think
I
we
mean,
should tell them more. And I certainly am because
mhm,
I really was planning to stop at 3. I was very serious about it. And really, at one point, wasn't quite sure if I would have enough of a plot for book 3. But again, sometimes as you just kind of sit with the characters and
yeah,
hear from your readers, things come together. And what happened is that as I wrote book 2, the path for book 3 became clear. So,
Okay.
and I'm learning that I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to happen with me for every book, but I'm learning that's just a part of my writerly path. I will have an idea for a book, but as if it's going to follow another one, as I make my way through writing that one, I usually get ideas for the next one. That's what happened with both The Gardens of Eden and A Garden Wedding. So,
and sometimes some characters stick with you a little bit more than others do.
yeah, that's absolutely true. So, I'm excited.
Okay.
So we'll
So
see. I don't have deals for books 3 and 4 yet. So everybody has to buy books 1 and 2 first. So
Okay, well,
okay.
we'll
you
get
got me,
there.
girl. I got your books. I got your books.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I had ordered the first book. I hadn't had a chance to read it yet, but I have ordered it. My
Oh, well,
my
thank you.
my to be read shelves. In fact, my daughter when she officially moves out, I'm turning her room into I'm putting books in there because I have books everywhere and I need somewhere to put the bulk of the books.
That
She's
makes
always
sense.
welcome to come. We have a guest room, so they're
Hmm.
always welcome to come back. So, but I'm going, and we have a office, a study too. So she used to work in there when she was working from home.
Uh-huh.
So I had 2 extra rooms. So,
I
so
love that.
anyway, yeah.
And if she's a reader, she needs a garden wedding for her honeymoon.
Okay.
Let's read
Well, I
that.
don't think she's gonna be reading on her honeymoon, but
Well,
You never know.
okay. Oh, okay.
I don't think so.
I
But
didn't say she had to read the whole honeymoon, but we gotta take a break at some point.
Gwen said if she's reading on her honeymoon, something must be wrong.
I cannot with y'all.
yeah,
I
no, that's
cannot.
not a good
I
sign.
cannot. I cannot.
So anyway, Rosie, you've given us some food for thought, and you've opened some cans of worms that probably should have stayed closed. But
I'm gonna leave that between you and your daughter. So when you
Right,
look down at
right.
your phone and you have a missed call and lots of text messages, that's gonna be between
There
the
are
two of
some
y'all.
conversations we just don't want to have.
Mhm.
yes. So Rosie, tell us one more time. Show us the first book one,
Yes, here is book
which
1. Put it on
is
that
the
side.
Gardens of Eden.
Yes.
And it's a play on words, but it's
Yes.
about the gardens, the garden family. And then a garden wedding. And that's also a play on words.
It
Because
is.
with the garden with an I, you can do, several different things with that.
Yes.
You can play with it some more. And it's always flowers because
Always lots of flowers.
you love flowers.
Yes.
So
Love that.
anyway, available wherever books are sold.
That's
And
right.
congratulations on book 2. We'll be
Thank you.
looking out for book 3.
Yes, and there's a fantastic audiobook that's narrated by Bonnie Turpin. People love it. So all of our audiobook lovers should definitely check it out.
Okay, that would be me because I'm an audiobook girl.
There
She
you
is.
go.
She is. Okay, you have a great evening, Rosey. Thanks for
Thank
being
y'all
back on the
so
show.
much. It was a
Thank you.
pleasure. Take care. Bye-bye.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.